and welcome to another mailbag episode of the Dulcimerica video podcast. It's from YouTube, a user named Dulcimer Lover that says, "Hey, I would like to know, what does it mean to tune a dulcimer? How many times a month should I change my dulcimer strings? Sorry to trouble you, but I really want to know all these. Thanks." I know that Dulcimer Lover is from Singapore. Thank you very much for your suggestion, and we're going to incorporate that into today's mailbag along with, "Hello Bing, I discovered a dulcimer in our closet. My wife bought it a long time ago. I used to play guitar and have an ear for music. Can you record a getting started video? How to tune this thing would be great. Basic chords, basic finger positions, etc." That's from Ray in Hill Country, Texas, USA. Thank you very much, Ray. These are both very, very great emails to get started. Now let's talk about strings for a second. There are many different types of strings that you can use. Some people go with a 010. That's .010. That is the millimeter width of the string. In my personal experience, anything over .016 will result in a snap string. Nothing is more frightening than snapping a string while you are tuning the dulcimer. See that little ball on the end? A lot of dulcimers simply have these little pegs on the end, or on top, where you can fasten that little ball. It'll loop right over the edge and allow you to stretch the string from the tail end all the way up to the headstock, where you get it engaged in the tuners. Now some people have pegs down here at the bottom, big wide pegs that these little ball ends will not fit over. So what you have to do is make a loop at that point. Now they do have strings that come with a loop end instead of the ball end. But in either case, what you want to do is you want to fit a piece of that string, and I don't know this is really in focus. You want to loop it through to create yourself a little knot that you can slip over the pole at the end. I suppose I should address the whole concept of having a 4-string dulcimer minus a string to make it a 3-string dulcimer. If you can see how my bridge is cut there, you see that I've got more than 4 slots cut down there. Because what I can do with a 4-string dulcimer is I can move the strings apart to where they're equally distant from each other for 4-string equidistant picking. Somewhere back in time, the string was doubled up to make the melody carry over the treble and bass drones, which works, but you can also make the melody string sound louder by playing it in a certain way. And I find personally that a double string melody gets in the way of doing ornamentations like hammer-ons, pull-offs, and bends, because you've got twice the amount of steel and wire there to push against. And so a lot of people, what they'll do, and I don't have mine yet, they will have a 4-string dulcimer, but they'll take one of those melody string courses and they'll tuck it down under a little nail or a catch pin off to the side so it's out of the way. So when you want to play 4-string equidistant, you have that 4th string ready to go and you can pull it into action. So we've got that string seated at the end. We now want to take the other end and thread it through the tuning gear. You can see here. Fit it right in there. As long as you get that string in there pretty far, and as long as you keep pressure, take up the slack as you're winding the string in. And you have enough of that winding around, you shouldn't have any problem with your notes slipping. And yes, I could use the string winder. Now notice all the while I'm doing this, I've got my thumb up underneath here, and I'm really trying to keep that slack up. I just want to go up and down and give it a nice hearty stretch. Not too much, obviously. Just enough to give it a working through. And then we'll seat that down at the nut. Make sure it's set in the same slot at the bottom. And there we go. Now you can see how much extra string goes over the top of this. It's a lot of string hanging out over the top. Give it a good stretching all the way up and down the fretboard. Right? Now, what to do with that piece of string that's sharp on the edge? It'll hurt you if you don't watch out. Here's a little trick that someone taught me about that. You grab yourself a coin, you place the string between your thumb and the coin. Okay? Just kind of pinch the two in between. Just pull it and give it a little crimp all the way out. Boing, and you see what happens? It curls up in a little curlicue and makes it a little less dangerous to your fingers and eye. Now, some people use, for the bass string, a 22, 0.022 or a 0.024. I use a 0.028 because you get a really nice, fat bass sound off of that. So we'll go ahead and we'll attach the ball down here on top of that post. Bring it on down. We'll do the exact same thing we did before. And I'm thinking probably about where my fingers are. I can get rid of that much and not lose anything. Take the clippers, come on in there. Let's go down here. Give it a snap. Off it comes. Shorter string. As soon as you feel it getting real tight, go ahead and up and down the fretboard. Give it a bit of a stretch. And when you're good and ready, go ahead and fit it in to the slots in the nut and the bridge. All the while trying to keep that slack as much as possible. And there you go. Now, of course, every dulcimer player should have a good tuner at his or her disposal. I got a couple of different ones here that I like a lot. This is the Sabine AX2000. It senses vibration. However, it costs more and is not even nearly as effective as the Seiko chords tuner. And it's really kind of cool. This is a rocking little tool. So there's a D for you. And I suppose we can use this right now going into a tutorial. If you're going to use your tuner, obviously you would find D and then A for the middle string and then D again. But what if you don't have a tuner? What if you were in the middle of a field and someone just said, you got a dulcimer there, let's hear some music, and you're not playing with anybody else? Really? Get that string to where it sounds really good to you, wherever it might be, because old-time musicians, they pretty much just tune to themselves. And then you're going to go to the 4th fret. The 4th fret is note A, and that is going to be what you tune your middle string to, D-A-D. So you go here, listen to it, and then tune the middle string so it sounds like that A right there. Alright, we got a nice 5th there, sounds good. And now the next string is D. Oh, we're nowhere near. Okay, there it is. Now, what if you want to tune the DAA? You just remove a step, basically. You find your D, of course. 4th fret for your A. Okay. And then DAA, Ionian tuning, is going to mean that your melody string is now going to be not a D, but an A. So drop it down. Your easy key being that your middle string is already tuned to A. Okay, and that is your open tuning for Ionian, DAA.